For the People with Lou Ismay.
There are many things that are going on. Just what is going on, or rather, what things are going on. We need to think a little bit. We're faced with all kinds of things. One is what's going on with large corporations. Have we ever thought about that? We have a real health issue with obesity in our country. How come? There are corporations that are earning a great deal of money. Investors like the idea, put out what we normally call junk food. Food that fills our stomachs, our hearts sometimes, but doesn't give us the nourishment that we need and should have. So somebody is using us for their benefit. Could that be called exploitation? Oh, you mean other people exploiting other people? Does that make sense? While we're thinking about the word exploitation, could we possibly be exploiting our home, our planet? For what purpose? We are losing all kinds of species of animals and plants on a regular basis due to principally to our use of fossil fuels. So now we may be going to electric cars, or trucks, even airplanes possibly. So we're heading in a different direction. Have we thought about that? Well, other issues. Interesting article in today's New York Times. An economist, Pulitzer Prize winner, changing his mind about things. And his statement, his thinking, rather, is pretty simple. Nothing magical about it. Industry. He talks about high-tech industries who are amplifying, as part of their business plan, amplifying disinformation, hate speech, polarizing political measures. So, we are at least getting close, it seems, to what is really wrong with how we do our businesses, living on a planet, and in a democracy. Imagine that. People earning millions, even trillions of dollars, disseminating disinformation, hate speech, and polarizing political messages. Well, what about the education system? Can we improve that? Is that contributing to the situation? Have we thought about that? Why shouldn't every single boy and girl in this country be assured of getting a higher educational degree? We have the wealth to do it. As a matter of fact, there was a lesson after World War I. The retired military who served in that war were promised a bonus, some money extra as a thank you, which was put off and put off and put off, and finally they revolted and had to get Jerome MacArthur to burn them out of their little shanty towns in Washington, D.C., to restore some what people called law and post-World War II. And now there's a fear in the land. It wasn't always expressed as that. But after that war, all who served, depending on how long they served, got a free education. College degrees, some of them PhDs, learned a trade, learned something that gave them something to live with, to live by, to contribute to society, and our country prospered. Not only were we famous and people thanked us, even gave free vacations to soldiers in Europe, countries inviting them to spend a week or longer, go skiing in Switzerland, travel the Rhine River, the Rhone River, almost any place they wanted to go. It wasn't from Germany that we got that. But anyway, the idea was that countries who were free now thanked our people. What have we done? What's the big difference now? How come we are not loved and respected especially? What's been going on in the last few dozen decades? Have we thought about it? And where are we going with all of this? We have no idea. Maybe because we have not been dreamers. Ask people what they want for the future, and you get something that they benefit by, but the country as a whole. What do we want our people to live in? Trash, like some of them do? Live with hunger? Have not decent clothes to wear? And by the way, with the clothes business, we are fooled. You know, we have Salvation Army and all sorts of good places. People can get clothes for a couple dollars, $2, $3. They can walk the streets and look nice. But there's nothing there that really is helpful for them in terms of functioning on a decent basis with some dignity. So what are we dreaming about for the future? What would we like to live in as a nation? Hopefully a democracy, the oldest in the world. But it is certain we are really an oligarchy. We, you and I, don't run the country. We vote, but we don't make the decisions. But make the decisions sometimes seems that people who count the votes. But that applies to other countries. We have an honest system. It works. It's worked most recently. But it's certain oligarchy is also being threatened by a health issue. Actually, a public health issue. It's a worldwide issue. In our country, we fight over it. We may even have to vote over it or about it. Overpopulation in the world. One major religious group saw to it that people who needed public health in terms of population were denied the help. Can you imagine the United States of America Congress voting to not help countries who needed help for their population health? It's there for us to see, but we squabble. Now let's backtrack to World War II. We, as a nation, responded. The threats were not to us. The threats were to other people, especially in Europe. There were threats in other parts of the world, South America, and Central America, but it was principally in Europe. Not our battle, but it affected others, and in so doing did in many ways affect us. So we have some leadership then. Nowadays, do we have the leadership that we need? Quite possibly. But we elected someone who had not one single sense of leadership that every single U.S. Marine recruit gets to know in boot camp. Marines know it. If you don't know it, think about it. It's called DD, for Justice and Judgment. JJ, did tie buckle. And what does that mean? Justice, judgment. Two things first. Dependability, initiative, decisiveness, tact, integrity, endurance, bearing, unselfishness, courage, knowledge, loyalty, enthusiasm. That's not politics. That's years of experience with leadership. Well, we were smart enough to elect a leader. Leadership means that we do things. We work together. Are we all working together? Or do we have some sort of built-in independence of judgment, which is pretty good? However, it seems to be a destructive kind of difference. We're losing good people. We're even losing it in some political ways, situations that we may regret in the future. And there's a book we want to call attention to. The title of the book is Rays of Dawn, D-A-W-N. The author lists what he considers natural laws of body, mind, and soul, and we'll just take a few moments to read to you. The mind, fear, worry, selfishness, vanity, anger, criticism, envy, greed, hypocrisy, prejudice, jealousy, hate. And for the soul, faith, hope, generosity, aspiration, patience, sympathy, non-interference, kindness, courage, forgiveness, duty, and love. Now that's 24, 12 in each section, the mind and the soul. Look it up. Rays of the Dawn. Check your library. Now this seems kind of silly sometimes to read these kinds of things, but in searching about, in reading, there's a realization. Some things that we need and would be helpful for us in our civilization and in the saving and restoring as much of the planet as we possibly can. Words have meanings. One, the medical field. Do no harm. Can we adapt that to our thinking? And if we make a list of things, we find frequently there may be a dozen or so words. Scout oath. Well, first it's called law. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous. Oh, well, it goes on. Stumbled on that one, but you can look that one up. And on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to my God, my country, and to help other people at all times. To keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Not very many words. Scout law is only 12 words. What do we do with our country, with our lives, with our planet, our home? Doesn't take very many words, and there are many millions of us on the planet, or billions. We can take parts of this, whatever makes sense to us, and work together. That's the key, isn't it? I will stop. There are more to think about. This is enough. Be together the next time. Be well.